It's 2 o'clock, and welcome to Geeks on Tour. What does this button do? It's an educational show about smartphones and tablets with the Geeks on Tour. Okay. Hi, Chris.
Hi.
Well, I'm Jim, and together with my wife, Chris, we're the Geeks on Tour. Do you think your smartphone is smarter than you? Do you have questions about your Android or your iPad tablet? And how do you learn about these amazing devices?
We are geeks who teach, and we're really into lifelong learning and helping other people along the way. So we're learning all the time. We like to teach. Our website is geeksontour.com, and there's several hundred tutorial videos there on the stuff that we teach.
Okay, where are we this week?
We're still in Fort Lauderdale in a stick-and brick house.
What is all
Pretty
this?
weird. Pretty weird. Yeah, this is not our normal studio. We've been really playing around with it, and we'll be back in the RV soon.
Yeah, it was great. We went on a scuba diving trip over to the Bahamas. Maybe you heard about that. If not, you can go to our website and see a short video that I put together using Movie Maker. That's one of the things that we teach. And we have some friends with us today, guests, our longtime RVing friends, Bill, Joyce, and Diane Melde. They're fellow computer geeks. Hi, guys.
Hi.
Hello.
All right. And before hitting the road full-time 12 years ago, they worked for Microsoft, and we met them back when the best option for internet on the road was those satellite dishes on the roof, and that set us back $6,000.
That was the only option back then, wasn't it, guys?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, so we had one on a tripod, so not quite as much money. But
Oh, right.
Okay.
So-
Okay, but so, Bill, why don't you just say hello and tell them where you are and what phones and tablets you have.
Well, we're in Fort Lauderdale. I think you said about a mile from you, but we're in a campground,
Are they showing?
Paradise Island. But we both have Samsung Galaxy Note 3s. Kind of boring because we don't have different ones. And Diane's got a 10-inch Android tablet, an old Acer A500, and I have a Nexus 10, which I just picked up.
Oh.
I like my Nexus 7.
Yeah. Well, I got a deal on it. They were closing them out of Walmart for $260, so it was a great buy.
You can't beat that.
Cool.
Not for one of those. Okay, and we'll say goodbye for now, but we'll be talking with you a little bit later.
Say hi.
Okay, but how we do this show is we do a beginner's lesson. Chris will do something that's important for beginners to know about their phones and tablets. We'll start with the iPad, and we'll show Android too in this segment. Then we'll do an app of the week, and we'll let Bill and Diane give us some suggestions this week. I hope that'll work out. And then we'll take your questions. Please post your questions down at the bottom of the show, whether you're watching it on Google Plus Hangouts on air or if you're watching it on the YouTube. There's places where we can try and find your comments there, and we'll try and get them on the show. We do record this show, and it's available for viewing later on YouTube with all the rest of the reruns. Chris?
Okay. There's times where we meet up with friends who have questions on their smartphones and tablets, and we love that. But each time I kind of think, all right, have we taught this in one of these episodes? Or is it something that should go on our list? So there were 3 examples this week I want to share. One friend had an email that was just really, really slow on her iPhone. And she said, do you know why? I have no idea. But let's try rebooting. Remember Reboot with the computer days? Same thing with phones and tablets.
Yeah, back when I was a corporate network administrator, my middle name was Reboot.
Yeah, but that hasn't been covered in one of our episodes, our What Does This Button Do? But if you go to our weekly show page, all the way down at the bottom, before we started doing these weekly shows, we did a show generally on iPhones and iPads and Android phones and tablets, and we covered Reboot right in the beginning of that one. So another example was a friend who was aggravated by the fact that when she deleted an email from her phone, it was still there when she went to her computer. So we helped her install the Gmail app on her phone. This also happened to be an iPhone. This was an iWeek. Yeah. And now when she deletes an email on her phone, it's deleted from the computer. And we covered that in episode 5, called Synchronizing Email. And the last one was somebody who wanted to make their apps on their iPhone in alphabetical order. You know, they're just in a mess. And that's called resetting your home screen layout. And we covered that in episode 4. So if you just go to our website, geeksontour.com, there's a menu item for weekly show, and all the episodes are listed.
Oh, that sounds great. Okay, how are we going to do these beginner lessons?
Well, I pre-recorded. These are member videos, and I'd like to try it with the video. Okay. So we have these queued up. Today's topic is using the Swype keyboard. It's kind of follow-up to episode 7, which was just using the on-screen keyboard. I find that tapping key by key by key is just so tedious on these little screens to just tap, tap, tap. Swype is a different. Now, is that the iPad one? I want the iPad first.
How can I tell?
And only now with iOS, it's the name of it. It says iPad. Only now with iOS 8 is Swype available on the Apple platform now. I would be able to use an iPhone now. We still have it on our list to get one if we find a good deal sometime. Now that I can use Swype on Apple devices,
the iPad first.
I can do it. So here is the beginner's lesson on Swype for iPad, iPhone.
Okay.
So Swype just became available for iPad, iPhone. We've used it on Android for a long time. And I really couldn't use the phone without it. So what is it? Why do I think it's important for you to see? Well, normally you just tap one key at a time. And I just think that's so difficult. Some people have mastered using 2 thumbs, but I just haven't ever even tried that, let alone mastered it. So what Swype allows you to do is to use one finger and just drag your fingers over all the letters that you're about to type. So MARYHADALITTLE, lamb. And notice how it's tracing all the letters that my finger passes through. And then it figures out what possible words were in the letters that you swiped over. And when you lift your finger, it knows you're done with a word, and it adds a space. So how do you get Swype? Well, first of all, on the iPad, iPhone, you have to buy it. So it's in the App Store. And just search for Swype Keyboard. You just tap on the search. Yeah, and I've already installed it, so you're not going to see the price show up. But I looked it up. It's 99 cents. I think we can manage that. So you buy it and install it from the App Store. Now you have to go into your settings, and under General, there's Keyboard, and you have to add a new keyboard. And since you've installed it, it will show up on the list. And now there's one more step, because you can still use the old keyboard. You have several keyboards available, but this little globe key in the lower left-hand corner, if you long press on that, you'll see your choices. So see, there's a bunch of them. Swipe is now one. So you just long press on the globe, select swipe. You'll know that you have it when you see that orange S in the lower left-hand corner. Now you can just drag your finger. So M-A-R-Y, that is M-A-R-Y. And whenever you only lift your finger from the screen when you're done with a word. Now I made a mistake. Just tap the backspace and it erases the whole word, because you're typing word by word. Now, how do you get the two T's? You just kind of scribble over it. You draw a little circle kind of to say, well, do a T and now do another T. And now there, I really messed up. But it still said, well, based on all the letters you went over, I'll bet you mean lamb.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. And you scribble over the E's. First fleece was white as snow.
So when you do this for a while, you can really get fast at it.
I can. And especially on the little screens of the phone, if I didn't have Swype, I would wait till I was back to a computer to type an email.
Right.
Kind of like printing versus handwriting is the way I think of it.
I mean, like printing with a pencil versus longhand.
Right,
okay.
Right, versus handwriting. Now, if you want numbers, you could just press that number thing, or holding down will bring up this ability to have a 10 keypad. This is on iPad, iPhone. Okay, now what if you notice an error? Yeah, see how fast I'm going? Yeah, that's pretty good. You can write a lot. If you notice an error, back away. So like everywhere should have, let's say it should have been something else. I'm not sure what. You tap the word and other possibilities show up now on this line. And all you have to do is tap the word that is correct. Or if not, you delete it. You can always go back to just typing key by key. So you only lift your finger in between words. All right, and that is it for the iPad. Next then comes the Android. And it really is a very exciting thing that it's available on iOS 8 now. So here comes how to do it on the Android. Now, it's been on Android a lot longer, so there's a few more things that to show you.
Okay, it's on.
All right. So Swype is the way to type faster on these mobile devices. This is my Samsung Galaxy S5, and you can still type key by key if that's what you want to do, or if you need to for some words. But as long as you see that orange S in the lower left-hand corner, you have the option to drag, to swipe. So this is still just demonstrating key by key. So I still just pressed enter to get a line break. And now I'm dragging my finger over all the letters. You have to kind of think ahead a little bit because you can't just start typing and then think of the next letter. You have to be ready for the next letter. So, what is the setup that is involved on an Android device? It may already, a lot of Android devices come with Swype pre-installed. Yeah, so if you see that orange S, you know you have Swype. So I'm going into settings. I just drag down from the top and then tap on the little gear, and it's language and input. So your possible keyboards are part of how you input into this device. And notice I have 3 choices. Just make sure that Swype is one that is checked. Now, if you don't even see Swype, then you do have to go into your Play Store and go get it. So you search for Swype Keyboard and then install it. It is free on the Android platform. So you need to make sure you have it, choose it in your settings, and now there's one more step. I'm just going to delete all this stuff first. And you may not have ever noticed, I know I didn't, but anytime the on-screen keyboard is up, there's a little keyboard icon in your notification bar. At least there is on mine. And that's how you choose the input method. So the Samsung keyboard, if you have a Samsung, you can swipe on it too. You probably shouldn't call it swipe, but you can drag across letters in a word. But the real Swype keyboard is available for all Android devices, as far as I know, anyway. Okay. So here we go. M-A-R-Y. Just typing something very simple here. And as soon as I let up, it figures out what possible words there was, chooses one, and puts a space. The way you get the double T's of little, L-I, and then kind of scribble around on the T. It lets it know that you want 2 of them. Now I have an error there. Just press the backspace, and it erases the whole word. Scribble over the E. I mean, I've been able to type whole paragraphs this way, whereas without it, I just wouldn't. Now, what if that word was wrong? You can tap on any word in your sentence, and it will repeat the list of all possibilities, and you can just tap on another one. So if instead of snow, that was supposed to be score, you just tap the word and it replaces it. Now, what if you want the upper part of a character, like the question mark? So, well, first I need to fix that back to snow. Long press. So I long press on the M until stuff pops up, and then let go, I get the question mark. Same thing with the numbers. So if I want to type 4, 5, 6, long press, long press, long press. Okay, and there's help. If you long press on the swipe icon, there's all sorts of settings, themes. I never bother with themes, but if you want to change all the colors. But help, I strongly recommend going into help and reading about Swype. You can also go to their website, swype.com, and there's some tutorial videos there. I mean, there's lots more to it, but what I've shown you here is the basics. So choosing input. So no, here I've chosen the Samsung keyboard, and notice you can do the same thing there. And on the Samsung keyboard, the numbers are dedicated. I kind of like that. But after I've used them both, and the Swype keyboard just seems a bit smoother, so I like to select it. Swipier. So, in review, to get Swype, you need to get it from the Play Store if it wasn't pre-installed. Go into your settings and language and input, make sure it's checked. Then when you have a keyboard on screen, notice the little keyboard icon up in the notification bar.
And more tutorial videos at geeksontour.com.
And those two videos are in our library.
Okay.
Do we have any comments?
Talk to Bill.
So, Bill, you said you've just tried Swype, huh?
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Haven't use it very much. I mean, my old phone did not have it installed, and you could not get it on all old phones. Now you can.
Right. Right. For a long time there, it was very special.
Yeah, and for a while there, it was even in beta, and you had to get the beta version. So it was something that, you know, everybody couldn't have, but we had it for a long time, and I really been liking it. So, but
any comments from the audience?
Does the type by voice? Let's see if I can get that on there. No, how about that? Does the type by voice work well enough to replace Swype in most cases?
Does the type by voice? So you mean dictating? Well, that actual type by voice keyboard that came up, I haven't tried.
Really?
But you don't need it to dictate. Anytime a keyboard is up, and this was in our keyboard session, you will see a little microphone. And the microphone will listen to what you say and transcribe it. And it works pretty good. For sentences, you know, not for whole paragraphs. 2 or 3 sentences, and then stop and see how it does and make any corrections, and then 2 or 3 sentences and stop and make any corrections. How about you guys? Do you guys use transcribing? Do you dictate to your phones?
Nope.
No?
For searching, but not for dictating.
Oh, yeah, talking to Google Now or...
Yeah, or Google Maps or something like that. Like
yeah.
A few words to sentence or so at a time. There is no dictation software out there yet that does a good job.
Yeah.
They are getting lots better.
It has gotten a lot better, and some of the better ones will learn from your mistakes, and you can actually train them, but it takes a long time, and it is tedious.
I just find that most of the time I'm writing on my phone, I'm in places where there's other people around, and I'm not comfortable talking to my phone when other people are around. So
precisely, it's a lot more unobtrusive to just type it. Or
yes,
swipe.
Exactly. Exactly. That's what texting is all about, is to be unobtrusive.
Yes.
Any other comments?
No, that's...
Okay.
Yeah,
then.
David Cross does say he likes to dictate.
Oh, yeah?
So David Cross...
well, especially if you have any issues with your hands or your fingers, you know, talking can be a really good option. All right, so let's talk to Bill and Diane. So, Bill, I remember meeting you guys a long time ago. You guys have been on the road for 12 years?
Getting there, yeah. So
Yeah.
house in July of 2003, so I guess so 11
Okay.
years.
Okay, yeah, we sold ours in November of 2003. And you guys are real techies. I know that, Bill, you answer a lot of questions on forums. Want to tell us a little about that?
Well, I try most lately. You know, a lot of people are just asking about internet, and I refer them mostly to the Technomatia's mobile internet stuff because they've got it down. But there's still specific questions like like people are trying to figure out how to configure stuff, and they're trying to find out, looking at it's right now. The last month's been completely crazy for data plans for cell phone, and
I know we're grateful to Technomati.com, RV Mobile Handbook. I just remember Technomatia.com. They're really staying on top of it, and we appreciate. But what forums do you find to be the most active?
Scapy's forum. There's both a computer section and an internet on the road that for this kind of thing. And it's also technical forums where people are asking about engines and places to stay and places to go as RVers. And then I'm on RV Dreams, which isn't as active, but is mostly a lot of people trying to figure out how to get on the road.
Yeah, just starting.
And our village has a little bit going on too.
Our village, yes, yeah. So do you have an app you want to talk about today?
Well, yeah, I was wanting to show off the American Red Cross's first aid app, which is free, and it's available for, I know it's available for iOS and for Android, but you know, it's a fairly large app because it's got embedded videos, but I've got it installed, of course, and it looks like that.
Okay. Let's see if I can find it online. Good.
Yeah. But the nice thing is it's got it's one of those things where you hope you never have to use it, but it literally could be saving life or limb because it's got a lot of dealing with things like if somebody's bleeding, what to do, and they've got little videos. Sometimes burn, they'll have a little video of how to.
Oh yeah. Okay, we can see that a little bit.
Yeah. Well, it's very short.
And what exactly is the app called? What's the name?
It's called First Aid from the American Red Cross.
Okay. Now this really points out, I think, the difference between an app and a website. I'll bet you the Red Cross has a website with a lot of this stuff,
Oh,
too.
yeah.
But if you're in an emergency, it's going to take a while to navigate on the web and find what you want, whereas if you have it as an app, then there's this icon right on your phone. You just tap it and everything you need is there.
And you don't even have to be, you could be out hiking somewhere and somebody could fall down and get hurt and you have no cell phone service and you can still use it. I mean,
Oh, really? So all this information is on your device?
yeah. I mean, so you do have to, if you have a really small amount of storage on the device, you might not be happy, but I think you could probably put it on an iPod Touch and carry it around.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So this is one point for getting the larger memory devices, is to be able to use something like that. Okay, looks like Jim is able to show his device, and I think he downloaded this
Red Cross thing.
Now, it wasn't called Red Cross.
It was called First Aid from the American.
First Aid. So it'd be in your Fs.
I admit I've never used it. I've looked at it.
Not seeing it. Well, I'm glad you've never used it.
Yeah, that would not be good.
That means you haven't needed to.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah. It's up there as First Aid American Red Cross is the full name on the Play Store. Probably similarly in the apps.
Are people seeing that?
Oh, sorry.
Okay, I'm showing it on my screen.
Okay. This screen.
Okay.
If I unpin, that's not being seen.
All right.
Okay. All right, so that's first aid. So it tells you what to do. You said it even tells you what to do in an earthquake emergency. Huh?
Yeah.
Now that happened to us recently. Although it wasn't that. It just woke us up. That's all.
It wasn't that much of an emergency for us, but for some people down in Napa, California, it was a little uncomfortable. And for a lot of wine bottles, that was really a drag. I would hate for that to happen to me.
And I assume this is free?
It's free. And it does do a lot of advertising for the Red Cross. Little things that says, if you want to learn more, go take a Red Cross class and donate and all that. But, I don't blame them.
Yeah.
Sure.
Donate.
Sure. Take a course. It's always been on my list to take what's that, resuscitation thing?
CPR and
CPR.
stuff. Yeah. I did that.
Yeah, I never did.
I'm good.
Taken the class a couple times. Haven't needed to use it, so of course it doesn't stick if you don't use it. But
that's the way it works.
All right, Diane. So you tell us a little bit about how technology helps you live on the road.
Well, we are able to keep in touch with family. We're able to pay all the bills. We're able
on
to
the screen a little bit.
play with games a little bit. Yeah, it's just kind of ubiquitous.
One thing that I am really impressed with you is how you have added exercise to your life on the road. That is not easy. So how does technology help you with that?
I find that by getting one of the games that I play a lot is the Wii. It's on the Wii. There's a lot of things that are on the Wii that are designed for exercise as opposed to some of the others, and it's designed for small space. So the one that I've been using the most these days is I use the latest version of the Wii Zumba. So you see all the classes for Zumba around, and you'll work up a good sweat. About 10 to 12 calories per minute. So it's a lot more than going out for a walk. And it's a lot of fun. You don't really realize how much time you're spending at it because you're just dancing and having a good time. So
yeah, we have a Wii. I haven't used it in a while, but I will. and you're right. What's so cool is that it can be done in a small space of an RV.
If you buy one of the Zumba games, it has all the pieces that you need in it. All you need from your Wii is to have the machine and one controller, and then you put the controller in the belt that comes with it. It's a hands-free sort of thing to do the Zumba stuff. So that's nice. You don't even have to pay attention to the fact that you're doing anything, other than the fact that you're getting feedback on the screen about how well you're doing. But
there's music and stuff, right?
Oh yeah. There's music and there's
dance.
It's a dance thing. They've got an instructor that you're mirroring. Actually, it's not just, they've got multiple characters on the screen that you're mirroring. So if they're heading towards stage right, that's your right. So it's not like sometimes where you're looking at somebody and you're having to, I don't know about you, but I do better mirroring than I do if somebody raises their right hand and says, raise your right hand, I tend to raise my left. If they're facing.
Yeah.
So it's set up like that. It's set up so that you are mirroring it, and you're being shown what you're to do. There's no talking, but there's plenty of music, and there's you following the body language.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good time.
And you can do it in the rain.
And you can do it in the rain. You don't have to.
Rain. So do you have an app you want to talk about?
Sure. Although Bill does say that when I'm doing it, he'd rather be somewhere else.
On the street.
When I do that week. Because you do bounce the motorhome around. It's a lot more than a washing machine would.
What are they doing in there?
The app I'd like to talk about is, when we're all out running around in these different to us places, how do you figure out what to go eat or where to go eat? So I was going to talk about Urban Spoon. And here's what the main screen of Urban Spoon looks like.
We don't see that.
I got it.
There we go.
Getting closer.
We'll go ahead and talk about it a little bit, and Jim will bring it up on his. There we go.
Okay, sorry, too much glare.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really tough.
Sorry. We tried to cut the glare in here, but
The sun is shining.
the sun is
Jim has
shining.
it.
Let's see. There's the main screen now. I can see it on my screen. So go ahead and talk about it.
And if you click on more nearby restaurants, it'll tell you what's close to you, or at least what's close to the cell tower that's closest to you. And
Okay, so there's an IHOP, an Oakland Park snack bar. I've never heard of that. Long John Silver's.
I guess I'll throw in a little bit here. When you go to Yelp or TripAdvisor, which is some of the other ones that do this, they normally show you by their popularity. And sometimes the first thing they'll do is show you something that's 5 miles away.
Right.
Well,
Click on map, too.
yeah. And Urban Spoon will normally by default will bring up by distance. So you'll...
Gee, and that's nice how it shows the storefront picture.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, sometimes
it's so
Sometimes.
Sometimes they'll have a bunch of pictures, sometimes they won't have any pictures. If Bill's been around, they've got at least a storefront picture. He tends to go around and take pictures of storefronts. And if there aren't any pictures, it'll tell you, it's got from $1 to $4 signs, how expensive people think it is, what sort of food it has, whether there's any reviews. You can often get to a menu if you click on one of those, find out what sort of food they, more specific about what they serve. Or you can get to websites from inside the individual ones.
you can see if it's got free Wi-Fi.
You can see if it's got free Wi-Fi. Yeah, that's another detail. Free Wi-Fi, because or takeout, or if you're looking for a place with a patio with outdoor seating, because it's a beautiful day and you want to eat outside, it'll often tell you that.
Or if you have an animal with you.
Or if you have
Actually, they don't have that one's one.
Well, oftentimes when you have take outside seating, you can have an animal with you.
Yeah.
So you'll get a lot of it. But this is something that is updated by people, you and I, or anybody who wants to belong to it. Not everything is completely detailed. So some stuff will have a lot of detail, and some stuff won't even be there. But in the best case, you've got pictures and reviews and what kind of food it is, and things like, yes, if it has outdoor seating or free Wi-Fi or takeout or all kinds of stuff like that. And it'll give you an idea of votes. How many people who actually use the app actually like the place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sure.
I end up just using Google Maps, but I should try some of these.
Actually, you should. If you look on Google Maps and you start digging in, a lot of times they'll use Urban Spoon as their links.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen it a lot. That's
Okay.
pretty cool.
All right. Well, cool. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, that really is helpful.
All right.
Well, it's time to wrap this thing up. Did you learn something? I know I did.
Always.
So we have some review questions. True or false? Swype is built into every smartphone. You just need to select it in your settings.
False, false, false. But it is built into some. So Android. On iPhone, it is only just now available.
Okay. How many fingers does it take to do swipe typing?
Just one.
And what if you see a mistake in the words that were entered?
You can tap on the word and other choices will appear. You can just tap on one of the choices if the right one is there, or you can delete it and type in your own.
Okay. And how do you enter double letters?
Just kind of scribble over it, you know, so hold your finger there for more than one, just swipe through it.
All right. And what were the featured apps today?
Bill, what was your featured app?
First aid from American Red Cross.
Okay. And Diane?
Urban Spoon.
Yay.
Cool.
Great.
Thank you. Okay. What's the web page that lists all our weekly shows?
That's geeksontour.com, and you'll see a menu item for weekly show.
And what's the web page that lists all our recent newsletters?
That's geeksontour.com, and there's a menu item that says blogs and articles. And newsletters is the first item on that list.
Okay.
And that's where you can see Jim's videos of getting eaten by a shark.
I only lost an arm, but it grew back. So, what benefits do I get by joining Geeks on Tour, Chris?
Well, these shows are all free, but if you become a member, and there's a little button on every page that says become a member, you get more tutorial videos, you get to ask questions on the members Q&A forum, and you get our show notes for these What Does This Button Do episodes.
Okay. So, become a member of Geeks on Tour and get all of those benefits that are out there. Let's see. Next week, we have another show coming up. It'll be on Sunday, November 9th. That'll be the last time doing it here in Florida, and then we're headed back to Arizona. So we'll have a beginner's lesson for the iPad and the Android, and then we'll...
And what I'm going to do is cloud, photos in the cloud.
Oh, okay.
Now, there's lots of ways that your photos get into the clouds. I'm only going to cover one of them next week, and that is Google+, because that is the successor to Picasa Web Albums. I'm going to show you and all about how you get your pictures from your phones and your tablets.
Okay. Please watch for the notification for next week's show, and be sure to click that you're coming. Leave any questions in the comments there. That would be great. Let's see. I think there was one more. We have an iPhone and share an iPad. When we loaded Swype on one of the iPhones, it became available on the iPad, but it's requiring us to purchase it on the other iPhone.
That probably has something to do with iOS 8 now. There is a family sharing system.
Yeah, they should or are supposed to be connected by iShare, and we should not be charged for the second phone. Do you have any ideas?
Not really, because I haven't actually set that up, but in your settings, under iCloud, there is a family sharing. Make sure that that's set up right on all the devices. That's all I can think of, but we'll check into that.
Yeah, it's something to find out. Bob Beese, hi Bob. The Dragon Naturally Speaking voice app works well, he says.
That's the oldest one, so it should be pretty good.
Okay. Michael Dorsey says he's going to try Urban Spoon, and he says he's leaving. So, okay.
Okay, it's time.
It's time. Well, that's it for our show this week. GeeksOnTour.com. I'm Jim.
I'm Chris.
And we'll see you next week.
Thanks, Bill and Diane.
And thanks, Bill and Diane. You guys take care, and we'll see you next week on What Does This Button Do? Bye.